Hello. If you're able to, please close your eyes. Take a deep breath in. And a deep breath out. Relax your shoulders. Unclench your jaw. Take another deep breath in. And another breath out. You can open your eyes now. My name is David, and welcome to Mindful Moments. In this case, I suppose I should say, welcome back. Let's call this Season 2. Thank you so much for your patience during my unexpected and much longer than wanted hiatus. I, over the last few months, have been through a lot. I disappeared rather unexpectedly, I'm well aware. For those who listen to this podcast but don't follow me on short form social media, Instagram, TikTok, and the like, you'll not know that in the last few months, I had a shoulder surgery. I had a traumatic injury in the shoulder surgery. I had a couple of other things going on as well offline. And I really needed to take the time to rest and recover before I could come back and do this to the level that I wanted to do it, to the level that we're used to. And I don't mind telling you that I have missed you very, 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 very much. Very much. In the time that I've been gone away, I have been through some difficult stuff health-wise, but I've also become engaged. I'm a fiance. I have a fiance, and that's wonderful stuff. I have been working on a lot of very exciting projects behind the scenes that I will be announcing very soon, and basically have lots to talk to you about. So it's very nice to be back. I'm going to change the structure and format of how I do this slightly, just to make sure that what has just happened doesn't happen again, i.e. scheduling regular breaks for myself rather than just doing episodes every single week with no fixed stopping points. One of the things I really have been so grateful for since starting this podcast is how it feels that I can do anything that I need to do with this and still have this wonderfully supportive community with me, waiting for me whenever I come back. So I must start by saying welcome back. Thank you. Appreciate you. Happy to see you again. This is the first of what will be 10 episodes of Season 2. That's how I've decided to frame it. This is our new season. I will do 10 episodes and take a break and go 10 episodes at a time from now on. And I think that makes sense because obviously every 10th episode, we were doing something special to market anyway. And I think that just means I'll be able to do this much more sustainably. And again, as I said, not have such a big break between episodes with no explanation again. My priority really going forwards now until forever is to really take care of myself and take care of my health. And I think that's the best way to do that, and to still be making these episodes, because honestly, I have missed this so much. Even just now, if you're watching, you'll see there's a big smile on my face because I've missed this so much. I'm very, very excited and happy to be back. Anyway, that's how I'm feeling. And today, that's what I'd like to talk about. I would like to talk about vocalizing our needs and talking about how we're feeling. As I've just said, in the past few months, I have had to focus on my health a lot. And I have been operating, productivity-wise, I've been operating at a level much lower than I've been used to in the last couple of years, especially. I have really been forced to take a step back to rest and recuperate and relax and reflect on my habits, my practices, the things that I'm doing, and the things that I need to do differently. To do all of those things, I've had to cut back on a lot of things. I've had to be a lot less social. I haven't felt emotionally, mentally, physically up to doing a lot of the things that I usually do. And I've had to lean a lot on my support network and the people around me. I am very good at being independent. Independence is something that's baked into me. I'd say hyper independence sometimes. Sometimes it can be an actual issue that I need to work on. And I am extremely blessed, extremely fortunate to have a wonderful support network of friends, family, fiance. And I find it very difficult to be reliant on anybody. And these past few months, I have had or been in a position where I've had no choice but to be reliant on other people, and to be reliant on other people to understand me, to listen to me, and to reach out to other people and lean on them for help. And one of the things that has become so clear and so apparent to me is that unless I tell people how I feel, they aren't going to know. That sounds very obvious. I don't know if you ever had, when I was younger, my mom used to say, I'm not a mind reader. You need to tell me what's going on. And it's very true, I think, because especially at a time like now where I post very frequently, as my job is a full-time content creator, I post very frequently. Even during this time when I've been creating less and posting less, I did on short form platforms keep people more updated on what was going on with me. I did post about my shoulder operation and have been posting sporadically just as updates because I know that people care. And even then, just because I'm posting every now and then about how I'm doing, it doesn't mean that people really know how I'm doing or can count on that to know how I'm doing. I think one thing we're all very aware of by now is that what you see online and what you see on social media can be very different to what's going on in somebody's real life. And I'm no exception to that whatsoever. I think if you ask somebody, if I name 10 people to you right now and ask you what those 10 people have posted on Instagram in the last 2 weeks, you probably wouldn't be able to recall that information to mind immediately because there's so much going on. Everybody has so much going on in their life that unless you communicate to them what you're going through specifically and how and why you need them, quite often you can feel like you're going through things by yourself and like no one cares or like no one's there for you because you're not doing enough to let people know that you need someone to be there for you. And I'm very guilty of this. This is something I'm very guilty of. One of my least favorite things, and by least favorite, I don't mean least favorite. Okay. One of the things I find most difficult to watch or read in a book or a TV show or film or whatever is when there's a miscommunication between two people. And I see the miscommunication and I know immediately that that's going to be used as a plot point to change this relationship and drive these people apart. And this thing is so small and so simple, it could so easily be fixed if someone was just to communicate and say how they felt about it. But I know they're not going to for the sake of the plot. And it bothers me because it seems so simple when I see it in a TV show or when I read it in a book. But we do that so often in real life ourselves. There are so many times where I feel a certain thing. I want other people to react, or I want someone else to react to that thing that I feel. And I expect them to know what I'm thinking and expect them to, you should know that I feel this. You know me so well that you should know that I feel this when you do this. And out of pure frustration for the fact that things haven't gone the way I wanted them to go, I haven't been seen and recognized without having to express myself. I let that fester and let that frustration build and grow into resentment rather than addressing it as I need to. And I think, as I said, I've had a lot of time for reflection. I think when I look at situations like that and myself in situations like that, I understand my initial feelings of, I wish that I didn't have to explain this to you. I wish you just got this without me having to say anything. But the reason for feeling that sits as much with me as it does with somebody else. It's lovely to be known and to be felt and to be recognized and understood without having to explain yourself. But equally, part of the reason maybe that I don't always do that is because I don't want to feel the rejection necessarily of explaining myself and someone not doing what I then need them to do. It's one thing if someone doesn't do what I want them to do and I haven't told them. It's another thing if I tell them and then they don't do it. And maybe sometimes I don't want to risk that. Sometimes it's difficult to even acknowledge to myself what I'm feeling, let alone vocalize it to someone else and make myself vulnerable. But ultimately, when it comes to those who care about me and those who have made it clear that they care about me and they're here for me and they want to help me any way that they can, if I want healthy relationships, I really do owe it to the people who care about me to tell them how I feel and to tell them what I'm going through and to let them know when I need that extra help and support. Because if I don't do that, they won't know about it. Everybody has 100,000 things to think of every single day. Even if someone objectively knows, yep, David's had an operation recently. I know he might not be feeling great. And I've told him that I'm there for him. In terms of my friendships and my relationships, that's my friend's job done. If they let me know if they let me know that they're there for me, it's then up to me to take them up on that when I need it, rather than sitting by myself, feeling down, wishing someone would reach out to me, but not letting anyone know. Wishing someone would reach out to me, but not letting anyone know that I need to be reached out to. One of the things I've been really worried about in the last few months as well, as I haven't been feeling very well, is I get nervous, I get worried when I withdraw, when I draw away from people, because I really worry that if I'm not present in my friends' lives and my people's lives, if I'm not providing something, then they'll stop wanting to be my friend, or they'll stop wanting to be around me. Oh, it's a very normal thing to feel. It's something that I struggle with particularly. And in these last few months where I have barely had enough for myself, let alone others, it has been something that's played on my mind and been a concern for me. Am I showing up enough for other people? Knowing I'm not really showing up for other people, that's because I'm struggling to show up for myself at the moment. And it's been a real battle to not let that turn into then becoming upset with other people as a defense mechanism. Oh, no one is showing up for me. No one's messaging me. So-and-so hasn't checked up on me. And I've really made sure not to do that because, as I said, I am blessed with a wonderful, wonderful support network. Every time someone does talk to me, they always ask how I'm doing, how I've been finding things, how I'm healing. And when I withdraw, or as I have withdrawn and taken more time to myself to try and recuperate and really work through the things I've been going through, it's been really important that I continue to communicate with my friends and let them know when I feel up to it, how I'm feeling, and update them rather than making them always chase me. Because when we withdraw from our friends, or when our friends withdraw from us, or when someone takes time apart to be by themselves and doesn't really show up as much as we're used to, we give them the benefit of the doubt, as we should, because we give our friends the benefit of the doubt. And one of the things that I've very much realized is that you then earn back the benefit of the doubt through the courtesy of communication. I can't expect people to know what I'm going through unless I tell them. And as much as them being a good friend to me is them checking up on me or them asking after me being a good friend to them is being honest about how I'm feeling and letting people in to the things I'm struggling with. Not necessarily by means of solution or fixing things or changing things even, but just so everybody knows. It's impossible to be of help to someone unless they're giving you something to work with. You can only be helped as far as you let people help you. And it's always easier to help somebody who's already helping themselves. I'll never forget that I had an assembly when I was in primary school, and I had teacher told a story of a man who was on the side of the road and his car had broken down, or his tire was flat. He had a flat tire, and he was waving at cars to stop and help him, but everyone kept driving past. And he stopped waving at people and eventually started trying to change his tire himself. And as he did, multiple people stopped to try and help him change his own tire because they saw that he was struggling with it and wanted to help him. And that story's always resonated with me, only because I think it is just much easier for people to help you once they see you're trying to help yourself. And sometimes we're not capable of doing much to help ourselves. Sometimes it's really difficult to pick ourselves up. And I've been finding that in the last few months of myself. But the one thing that I will say is that when I tell people how I'm feeling, when I communicate how I'm feeling and exactly what I'm struggling with, it's much easier for someone to then help me and give me directions or give me pointers or just give me their perspective if they know what specifically I'm going through. If I tell people how I'm feeling, if I tell people what I'm struggling with, then they have something to respond to and something to go on when they're talking back to me. So I feel very grateful for everybody who's been helping me through the last few months. I feel very proud of myself because it has been really hard, I think, to let a lot of people in on the things that have been going on and to tell people how I'm feeling. But that's the wonderful thing about community. And that's how you let people be there for you, by letting them know there's something going on. So, yeah, all that to say, vocalizing our needs is very important. Letting people know what we're going through is very important if we are to receive the help that we need and that we deserve from the people who care about us and love us. I don't know a single person who cares about me who would rather I was productive than I was healthy. So really, me worrying about not being there for people or not being able to give other people as much as I usually do isn't important if I'm not healthy within myself. And I feel really grateful for everybody who's helped me or is helping me get back to that point. And I'm grateful for you too for listening, because one thing about vocalizing how you feel, the more you do it, the easier it gets. One of the reasons that I'm coming back to do this, other than feeling more ready and feeling like I really wanted to start up again, is because I didn't quite realize how much better expressing myself doing this was making me. I have become so much better at talking about myself and the things I'm going through and processing my thoughts, simply because every week I was sitting down and talking about something that I thought. And so I'm very grateful for being given that platform to do so as well. Thank you. One of the ways that I'm really working through things and learning to vocalize my needs is, first of all, acknowledging them to myself as well. I don't want to close this I didn't want to just say, vocalize your needs more and then leave it there. I wanted to talk about also things that I'm doing that are helping me to do that. Journaling has always been a big one for me, but something one of my friends has just introduced me to is audio diaries as well, which is literally just, I'll open my voice notes and just speak about whatever I'm feeling. Not for solution, not for anything, but just to vocalize it and see, really help me, just to help me understand what I'm thinking, or even know what I'm thinking. Sometimes you're thinking stuff and it's all such a jumble in there that you don't quite know what thought goes where. And then when you write it down or you speak it, you're forced to put it in some kind of order, and that helps you gain perspective. Audio diaries, journaling, those are the two main tools I'm using to help me do that. And when I understand what I'm feeling myself, it's much easier for me to then speak to the people who care about me and let them know what I need from them to help me to feel better. I'm doing that a lot, and I will continue to, because I feel much better than I felt a few months ago, and expect to only feel better from here. So, to summarize, welcome back. Thanks for waiting for me. Vocalize your needs when you need to, and I'll try and do the same. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. Whatever you're doing this week, I hope you have a wonderful one.